The first proposal we want you to consider is moving Election Day to coincide with Veterans Day.
How will that help? Well, it's important to remember that Election Day in the United States is not a federal holiday. It's just Tuesday.
Why Tuesday?
Excellent question. This is an issue that our founding fathers didn't make a decision on.
There was a lot on their plate.
So every state had their own election day until 1845, when Congress passed a law making Election Day the Tuesday next after the first Monday in November.
That hurts my head a little.
But you have to remember, back then most people were farmers. Early November was an ideal time to vote because the harvest was over, but the weather was mild. But it couldn't be Sunday because that was the Christian Sabbath. And it couldn't be Wednesday because that was market day for all those farmers. And it couldn't be Saturday, or Monday, or Thursday, because it might take a day to travel to the nearest polling place.
And I guess no one wanted to work on Friday, even then.
So, Tuesdays.
And why not just the first Tuesday?
Mostly to avoid All Saints' Day, celebrated by some Christians on November 1st. Also because that's when most merchants settled their books for the month.
And so, that's how we got here. But these days, Tuesdays can be busy days, and that's a problem. A recent study showed that nearly 15% of eligible voters didn't vote in the 2016 presidential election because of conflicts with work or school schedules.
Some have proposed making Election Day a federal holiday, but not all businesses close for federal holidays, especially new holidays.
There is an existing federal holiday that's widely observed by schools and workplaces and also falls right around Election Day. It's Veterans Day. And some argue that there's no more fitting way to honor and recognize those who have fought to protect our democracy than to make voting more accessible by moving Election Day to Veterans Day.
This change would adopt best practices from other countries that see higher voter turnout than the United States. Israel and South Korea, for example, already designate their Election Day as a holiday, and many other countries hold elections on weekends to encourage turnout.
However, there are arguments against this idea. First, Veterans Day is already a significant and solemn national holiday. Adding all the activity and media frenzy of a national election could dilute the significance of the day.
Many Americans spend Veterans Day with their families and may not have time or interest in running out to vote on the same day. That could actually decrease voter turnout, which is the opposite of what people would hope.
There could be some unforeseen logistical challenges with holding an election on a national holiday. Many polling stations are staffed by volunteers, and it may be harder to find enough volunteers on a holiday. In addition, increased turnout could lead to a shortage of resources such as voting machines.
There are also concerns about the fairness of holding an election on a holiday. Those who are unable to take the day off on a national holiday, typically lower-income workers, may still have difficulty getting to the polls. Instead of improving turnout, this could create disparities in who can vote based on employment status and income.